Good afternoon, Bobcat parents, educators, and scholars. Welcome to our spring school-based family data night. We are so happy that each of you joined us. Let's get started. MSCS's Vision for Student Success simply says, we envision Memphis Shelby County Schools becoming a transformational district that provides opportunities for innovation to meet the needs of all scholars. As we reimagine 901, we are reimagining schools, reimagining communities, and reimagining education by creating 21st century learning facilities, strategic partnerships, and academic planning. We have 4 initiatives within our district. We focus on the 3rd grade commitment, reimagining 901, equity, and that we are 901. Let's take a look at our agenda for today. During our time together, we will cover the following: the purpose of our family-based family data night, how to access the SES portal to see your child's report card, progress reports. We will talk about our Power School academic scorecard, the assessment department and resources for families, give Mastery Connect updates, talk about our iReady and our diagnostic and our parent reports. We'll talk about the 3rd grade commitment in grades K through 2. We'll also talk about school-based communications, things such as tutoring, class dojo, weekly, daily communicators, emails, and upcoming parent meetings. Lastly, we'll talk about parent support and community support opportunities as we shift and think about the summer programs that the district will offer and how you can get a jump on the next school year by going ahead and registering your child. Our purpose for tonight, as you may be asking yourself, why are we here? The purpose of this family data night is to inform you on your child's progress within various assessments, provide guidance on how to read those data reports, and to give recommendations of how you can help your child at home. Let's begin by reviewing how to access and view your child's report card, as today is report card day. So there are 2 ways that you can actually access and view your child's report card. So first, you can actually go onto a tablet or a laptop, or you can actually access the internet on your phone and actually go to the Power School link that you see on the screen right here. You'll see this blue corner where it says parent and student sign in. You'll see that. You'll put in your username and password. This is the same username and password that you use to register your child every year. Once you get in, the screen that you will see is on the right hand side. On the right hand side, you will see across the top, you'll see the names of all of your children. So in order to see the different grades for your children, you just click on the name of the child that you want to look at, and then all the screens look the same. Currently, at the top of the navigation tool, there's a green box where you can enroll your child in a tutoring program. There's a blue box if you are looking for renewing any kind of optional renewals. If your child goes to one of our optional schools, you have a TCAP transportation survey. There is an orange box where you could verify your child's registration information. That's just you telling us if your phone number changed, if your address changed. Tell us who can pick them up. Give us permission for them to use electronic devices, whether or not we can take photos of them, the allergies they have. So it's very important that every year that we as parents go in and update our information. If you have a student that is new to the district, there is a yellow box that talks about new student registration. And then all the way at the bottom is where you will see a link that says Q1 report card. But this time it should say Q3 report card right there in that bottom box. And that is where you click so that you can view your child's report card. Now, once you get all the way down to the bottom and you click on that box, the very last box, it says Q3 report card, this is what you will see. It will open up and look like a paper copy of your child's report card. You are able to press the word print. If you press print, it just gives you a full screen so you can take a screenshot of your child's report card so that you'll have it. So you don't actually have to have a physical copy of it. To further assist you in understanding where your child is, what their strengths are, where their areas of growth are, and give you a snapshot of what you can do to help them, MSCS has created a academic scorecard in PowerSchool for your child. And so the academic scorecard is available also within the PowerSchool app. And so what it does is it allows you to look at your child's academic, their attendance, and their behavior data in one spot, all on the same screen. So you don't have to navigate between all the different places. It's just right there. So let me show you where you can find this as well in the PowerSchool app or by logging in through the web. So once you log in, right up under where it states that your child is returning 22 to 23 returning student registration, right up under that link, there is a link that says academic scorecard. And so there's like a little button that you press, and once you press the button, this is what it looks like. So you're in the academic scorecard, what it has your child's current attendance rate. It tells you how many days your child has been absent. It also shows you the district's current attendance rate. So the student that is used as an example on the screen right now has a 97% attendance rate, has missed 3 days, and the district's attendance rate is currently 92. If we move over just across the top, it also talks about how many days this child has been chronically absent. Since the child has only been out 3 days, they have satisfactory attendance at this time. And then the very last column across the top talks about your child's truancy status. Truancy is based on the number of unexcused absences your child has. When your child gets to 5 unexcused absences, then a SART meeting will have to be held. You'll have to get those letters. If you've been getting letters from us, it is because in the computer, we have not marked your child's absences as excused. That's why we ask that you send a note each time your child is out. So if you see a number over here by the days truant, you should call the main office, get with Secretary Clark, so that you can clean up your child's attendance by letting us know why your child was out, so that you won't have any truancy days there. Up under the attendance section, it has all of your child's grades, and then in the middle of the first page, it actually has your child's behavior data. Progressive discipline is the number of times your child may have come to the office, but we didn't issue them a suspension. But we documented what they actually did, and so it talks about that in school, out of school, expulsions, etc. Once your child takes their state assessment, if they're in grades 2 through 5, the data will actually show in the last column right here in the middle of the page. In this bottom corner, there is a response to intervention. It says RTI2. You'll see a book and a calculator right there. What it tells you is which tier your child falls into. Tier 1 is for students who are engaged in grade level content on grade level. The tier 2, if you see a 2 by literacy and a 2 by math right by that book and that calculator, what that lets you know is that your child receives additional small group and online intervention, and we monitor their progress every couple of weeks. If your child has a 3 by the book or the calculator, then this is an indication that your child is getting intensive small group instruction. They're getting small group instruction at least 3 extra times per week. They're also doing an online intervention program, and we monitor your child's progress every week so that we can make sure that we're moving them closer and closer to the grade level content. The second page of the academic scorecard shows 3 different areas. That is our Illuminate Fast Bridge, our iReady, and our 3rd grade commitment data. So the Fast Bridge is the top of the second page. So in the Illuminate Fast Bridge, we have tested our scholars twice this school year. We do this test right after we do our Mastery Connect assessment. So students have until Friday to finish the Mastery Connect assessment. But as a school, we're at 94% completion with that. So I know that our 4th and our 5th grade scholars have started their 3rd Fast Bridge assessment. And on this scorecard, it will say A math and A reading. What you want to look at is you want to look at the percentile bracket. So what you will see is you'll see some words, and they will either be in red, yellow, or green, because we try to keep the same color coding so that it's easier for us to read the data. And so you want to look to see which color your child is in. Green is on grade level, yellow is approaching grade level, and red is below grade level. And so if you just remember those 3 colors, green is on, yellow approaching, red below. And you'll see that for not only the Fast Bridge Universal Screener, you'll also see that for the iReady diagnostic. And then across the bottom of the page, it tells you where your child is in terms of 3rd grade commitment. What you want to look for on this page is you want to look for green check marks across the bottom, green check marks across the bottom, or green words. Green means your child is on track. And so you want to count those check marks to see how many your child has. because the magic number is 8. So on this screen, we can see that there are 4 green check marks, and then in the middle, it says that this child also has a performance level that is written in green. So right now on the screen, this child has 5 of the 8 criteria points that they need to meet the criteria for the 3rd grade commitment. And we'll talk about each of these individually. Just want to show you what the scorecard looks like, because your child's teacher has a copy of their scorecard. So if you are watching this virtually, please make sure that you stop by the school, or we can just have the teachers to send home your child's scorecard and their daily communicator on tomorrow. If you are not currently at the school in person, we'll make sure we get that to you. We just want to make sure that you know the information that is on it, so it'll be easier for you to read it. Now, the Ready Graduate page is the 3rd page, and because you may have a child that is in high school, I want to talk to you about what this looks like and just to forecast it for you, because your child will keep this scorecard as they go up. So it's going to keep all of their other information on here. And so on the back of this page, if you have a high school child, or you have a child who is attending an optional school, or a dual enrollment school, if your child is going to high school and college at the same time, we have several schools in the district where students are able to go to Christian Brothers, Lemoyne, University of Memphis, Shelby State, all while attending high school. And so all of that information is captured on this last page here. So it'll tell you your child's ACT score. They want to earn at least a 21, and it tells you that on the side. If your child takes the SAT, which is another assessment that students will take, the ACT and SAT are taken to get to college, to get into college, and it tells you the number they're shooting for there. It also lets you know if your child has completed the early post-secondary opportunities, and so this is when they'll take like the test for the ASVAB, the Armed Services Vocational Aptitude Battery exam, and it talks and it'll put their score there if they actually took it. And it says other things that may count as early post-secondary opportunities include if your child goes to an international baccalaureate school, or they do some type of dual credit course completion, or they do a dual credit challenge exam. And so all of that is captured on this last page here. Now, parents, if you are attending virtually, then you can actually access your child's scorecard right now on an electronic device, a tablet, a laptop, your phone. All you have to do is, once you click on that button that said academic scorecard, it's going to give you a screen that looks just like this. You push the blueprint, and once you press the blueprint button, this is what you will see. You will see this right here. If it gives you an option and it asks you to select a printer, what you want to do is tell it to do a Microsoft print to PDF. So a print to a PDF means it's going to give you a picture on your phone so that you can see your child's scorecard. If you're on a laptop and you're on a printer, you can actually print your own copy at home. Now let's dig a little bit deeper into our assessment resources for families. So we have a number of tests coming up as we are trying to wind down the school year and figure out which areas your child needs the most support in. And so to access the Assessment Calendar, you just go to, of course, www.sesk12.org. You put in 2 backslashes and the word assessment along with another backslash. And what you will see there is you'll see the 2021-22 assessment calendar. Once you get there, there's a rationale for the assessments that we are taking, and then you click on the SES Assessment Calendar right there on the screen. So the bottom of this screen is exactly what your screen will look like when you click on that assessment calendar. So the second link on that screen is a TCAP family portal. And so the Tennessee Department of Education has created a place where families can go to get resources to help their child. You can also look at your child's testing data. And so there is the portal, the link to the portal is familyreport.tnedu.gov. And once you get there, you have to actually have your child's TN state ID, which is different from the 7-digit number that your child is going to that your child uses all the time. But to get in, you want to ask your child what the number is that they put in when they do iReady, that they put in when they're logging into anything, the computer, everything. And so all you have to do is put 2 zeros in front of that 7-digit number that your child uses for everything. So they should already know their number. Just put 2 zeros in front of it, and then you'll be able to get in to see these reports. So there are only 2 steps to access this information. So now, if you actually, if your child doesn't actually know their number, you actually can see it once you click on your child's grades. It'll also be on the corner of your child's report card. We use this number instead of like their social security number, because it's a secret number. We use this number across the state, and the state knows that whenever they see this number, it's your child. And so once you put that number in, you can go into the portal and you'll be able to see all of your child's testing information. And so when you go to this site, this is what you see as a login screen. And of course, you're going to put in your child's 7-digit code with the 2 zeros in front of it, and then you put in your child's birthday, and then you press go. Once you press go, it will show your child's testing history and your child's test results. And so you want to click on the test results page, and it will provide just an overall level of mastery for where your child is. And so if you look on this screen, you will see in the middle of the page it says the number 4, and it has the word mastered. And so if you look at the key at the bottom, we have those 4 colors because there are 4 different levels that children can fall into. And so the below is orange, the approaching is that light green, there's like a dark green, and it's on track, and then like a turquoise, and that's mastered. And so these levels will look the exact same way for every child, and you'll be able to know where your child falls and how they performed on their tests in the past. There's a second section on this report, and so in this section it actually has each of the different categories that your child was tested on. So on this screen, this particular student was tested on reading literature, reading informational text, reading vocabulary, written expression, and conventions. So that is their ability to read a regular story, a story with facts, if they're able to figure out what the words mean within the passage that they're reading, how well they write, and their ability to know the grammar rules, capitalization, punctuation, had usage of like verbs and nouns and words. And so that is what's on this section, because this is an example of reading. And math would be broken down into all of the different forms, categories that they'll test our students on and your child on as and during the end of the year assessment test. And so the last section of the assessment reports talks about how well your child did in comparison to the district and the state average. And so it's just a bar graph. Your child will be across the top, and then the school's average will be right up below that. The district's average will be the third bar that you see, and the state average will be the last bar. And as you can see on this screen, when we look at Sally, Sally is that top bar, and Sally outscored her school, the district, and the state. So as compared to them, she is moving well above where most of the students in her grade level were, where they failed, where they ended up, where their average was for this particular content area, which was reading. So let's talk about some of our school-wide goals. We've been talking about district-wide. Let's dig deep into where we are at the Hill. So we're going to talk about our data and some academic goals. So on the screen, you will see the current trends in our data. So we have been taking our Mastery Connect data, and that is our district common assessment data. We take it about once a 9-week period. And so the current trends indicate that we have 22.4% of our students who have mastered the standards, 19.3% who are on track, which means they have also mastered the standards, but they haven't done it perfectly. And then we have 30.3% who are approaching. That means they understand pieces of what we're teaching, but they haven't quite learned all of the parts to it. And then we have 28% who are currently below. So as a school, currently we are at 41.7% proficiency as a whole. And so one of our academic goals, one of our most important academic goals, is for all of our students to learn the academic vocabulary, the sight words for their particular grade level. And so right now we are doing the 1,000-word sight word challenge because we are having our scholars to work on making sure that they can read these words on sight. If your child is able to read all 1,000 of the sight words, that means that they can read 80% of any text, any book, anything that they're challenged to do, anything that they pick up, they'll be able to read them. And so if your child is in pre-K through 2, we have been working to at least learn the first 200 to 300 words. But on the screen right here, you will see Cardell Taylor. On yesterday, he became the first pre-K through 2nd grader to master all 1,000 words. 1,000 words. He is in the 1st grade. We have 2 other scholars who tested out of the 1,000-word challenge, and they are now our 3 sight word geniuses. Our other 2 scholars are Karaya Byers and Kyla Jackson, and we are so proud of each of them. So let's talk about our Mastery Connect data. And so we have been taking the Mastery Connect assessment for the last 3 weeks of school. We started the week before spring break, and we have been testing for these 2 weeks that we have been back at school. Now you will know whether or not you'll know that your child was testing, because they may have come home and held out their wrist to show you one of the wristbands that they earned. If your child was showing you a wristband, that means that they tested into one of our 3 academic clubs, and that is something to celebrate. So anytime your child brings you a wristband, know that it is time to celebrate, because they have done something great academically, or they have done something great in relation to their behavior. But so anytime your child holds their wrist out and says, "Look at this," that is a time for you to celebrate. So if your child brought home a wristband in the last 3 weeks, it was because they did something great on the Mastery Connect test. So let's talk about it. So every child in grades K through 12 participates in standards-based tests that's aligned to what they're learning in reading, in math, and science. And so the platform actually allows us to see if children have mastered what their teachers have been teaching them in class. When they take these assessments, they actually receive their results instantly, but some of our children don't see them, but the teachers receive the results instantly. And so children are given their overall percentages, but it actually tells us for each different area that the child is tested over, it tells us whether or not they actually understand every one of those skills, so that we know what to go back and reach back and get. So I'm going to break down all of our data from the Mastery Connect assessments this year, and I'm going to take it by content area. So on the screen right now, you see reading and reading. Before we look at the chart at the bottom, you will see that in the fall, we were at 26.5% students who were on track or mastered at on grade level, mastered all of the standards on those assessments. And our last test that we took, and that was in the last 2 weeks, our last test, we are at 45.3% mastery and on track. And if you look at the bottom, you see those 4 colors across the bottom, and you will see that we started out with 4.3% of our scholars at the mastery level when we first began taking this test in the fall, and we have increased that to 23.1%. Our on track has remained steady, and so we take both the green and the blue so that we can figure out which ones of our students are on grade level, the percentage of students who are on grade level. We have about 27% of our scholars who haven't quite mastered the entire standard. So that means if there were 3 questions, they may have missed one. And so that indicates that there's a piece of that standard, those lessons, that the teacher needs to go back and reteach some pieces. But if you look at the red, you will see that we started out with 43% of our scholars in the red for reading, and we have decreased that to 27%. So we are working as hard and as fast as we can. But once again, parents, one way you can help us is to help your child learn those 1,000 words. On the back of the folders. I know in K1 and 2 especially, there's a list of vocabulary words for students to practice every day. In the office, we have the entire 1,000-word list. There's also a link to the 1,000-word list in our last newsletter on our school's website so that you can help your child to master those 1,000 words. That is our goal, 1,000 words. All right, and now we're moving on and shifting to mathematics. In the fall, we started out with 23.9% of our students on track in mastery in mathematics, and as of yesterday, we were at 45.8% on track mastery. So we have been moving our babies as fast as we possibly can. And so if we look at the 4 colors in the chart at the bottom, we started out with just 10% of our scholars at mastery level during the fall, and we have increased that to 26.3%. We started with 13.5% on track. We have increased that to 19.5%. Now our approaching, that's our children who have just a little piece that they are not quite fully understanding yet. We're at 29.3% of students now. So this group has gotten larger, but we're okay with this group getting larger because if you look at that first number, that top number up under the red, the below grade level, we started out with 52.5% of our scholars here, and we have decreased that to now under 25%. So we have reduced that almost by half, and moved those babies either to approaching, on track, or mastery. And so we are trying to make those moves in math. Ways that you can help your child to learn their basic addition and subtraction facts. Make sure that they can do mental math. There's some numbers they should be able to just tell you. They should be able to tell you that 5 plus 5 is 10. They should be able to tell you 2 plus 2 is 4. They shouldn't have to think too hard to do that. If your child is in 3rd, 4th, or 5th, work on the multiplication facts with them. They should be able to do those with automaticity as well. So if you said 3 times 3, they should be able to tell you 9 without having to think about it. If your child has to think, that means that's something that you want to practice with them, because it'll make it so much easier, and they'll be able to work problems faster. And so we want that because the TCAP test is a timed assessment. All right, in science, once again, before we go and look at the chart, we started out in the fall with 7.8% of our students in the area of on track or mastering of those science standards. We have increased that to 41.7% as of yesterday. And so if you look at the chart at the bottom, you'll see, if we start in the blue, that we started with 3.5% of our scholars mastering the science standards, and we have now increased that to 22.4%. Our on track has also increased from 4.3% to 19.3%. Our approaching has increased. We started out with only 13% of our students who were partially mastering the standards, and we have moved that to 30%. But what we are most proud of is the decrease that we had in students who were not mastering at all. That's the below. We decreased that from 78 to 28%. So we reduced our children who were not understanding the science standards at all by 60%. So our teachers are wonderful. They are some hard-working people. I mean, just imagine how hard they have been working, because if you were really closely looking at these numbers, we have reduced the number of students who are not mastering things in every content area. I'm so proud of the work that we do each day. I'm so proud of you partnering with us to make sure that your child is courageously concentrating and focusing on their work. And when they are not, you helping us to get them back on track. That is how. So this is how we together did this, and our babies are moving in the right direction. We are truly building brilliant Bobcats every day. All right, now let's talk about iReady. So iReady is our computer-based intervention program. And um, you may have heard your child get on already. And part of the reason they probably trying to get on at home, get on Saturday, get on Sunday, because they want to become one of our top 10 scholars. So on the screen right now, you see our current top 10 scholars for last week. So it's always a week behind because I give students the entire week to work on it, and then we announce our children who have the top number of minutes, the top number of times that they've been on the program to try to work on skills that they need to improve on. And so in mathematics, our top scholar for this week is Nigeria Allen. And in reading, our top scholar is Peyton Newbern. And you will see our other scholars across this screen. And so every, at least by Tuesday during the morning announcements, we announce our top 10 scholars so students know where they are. So iReady is a computer adaptive test where it continuously tests your child to see where they are and then adjusts the difficulty of their assignments until it figures out exactly what level your child is on. And so iReady is the space where I tell students each day that they build their brilliance, because it is a test where it has figured out exactly where your child is and the things your child has not understood. So every minute that your child spends on this program, it is helping them to become smarter. So it is building their brilliance. So anytime you have some free time on the weekend, in the evenings, if your child tells you they don't have any homework, have them log into iReady, because it already knows where they are, and every minute that they spend on there, they're getting smarter. And so teachers use this data to figure out what skills to focus on during the small group instruction that we were talking about. So on the screen, you'll see this on the screen. You'll see that this student has currently she has 205 minutes. And she has completed 25 lessons. And so that is what, each time the children finish a lesson on iReady, it gives them their data so that they can actually see it. It gives them their score. It tells them if they made 75, 85, 95, 100. It tells them so they know where they are. So at any given moment, your child should be able to tell you where they are on iReady. So we have not taken our spring iReady assessment yet, so I don't know where our scholars are, but I fully expect for us to have made many gains as we saw on our Mastery Connect data. But I do want to show you where we started out at. So when we first took our fall iReady diagnostic test. This is the test where I was telling you it increases the difficulty or decreases it until it finds your child's instructional level, what they need to work on. So when we first started out, only 6% of our students have mastered just basic number and operations. That's counting without drawing dots, circles, sticks, counting on their fingers, those types of things for any just basic mathematical concept. by winter, we had moved that to 17%. Our largest gain was in kindergarten, where they went from 4 to 23%. In reading, on the screen, you will see that our areas of focus for our reading were the high frequency words. That's why we have our children learning the 1,000 words. So in high frequency words, we started out at 44%. By winter, we had moved to 56%. Our vocabulary started at 12%. Only 12% of our students were on grade level when they first tested in the fall. We doubled that in the winter. And I fully expect for us to triple it, because I know that you have been working with your child, because right when we got this data is when we inserted our parent creed into our monthly newsletter so that we could make sure that we were enlisting your support and your help to help us get our children our percentage up for the high frequency words, better known as the sight words, the fry words, the 1,000 words that all children should know, that all people should know to be able to read. And so the Illuminate Fast Bridge is also a computer-based assessment where children go in. That was that A reading and A math that we talked about on the scorecard. Let's take a deeper dive into this. So if you have children in kindergarten through 8th grade, they are required to participate in this skill-based reading and math screener. And so this is our intervention screener, and it's a new platform that we just started using this school year. And it's used for both regular and special education, so that we can meet the state guidelines for intervention for our students, or extra support as I like to call it. And so what it does is it gives us a deep dive, a in-depth look at your child's strengths and their specific areas of need or growth in reading and math. And the goal is for us, this is the system where I said if your child was on yellow or red, where we either monitored them weekly or we monitored them every couple of weeks. This is a system that we use to test your child and make sure they're moving in the right direction. All right, now let's talk about the 3rd grade commitment. Now we have been talking about it in our last couple of meetings. We have talked about it. We also had it in our last 2 to 3 parent newsletters, where there were the 3 questions that you should ask to see if your child is on track to meeting the 3rd grade commitment. And so one question talks about knowing your child's Lexile level. The Lexile level is based upon the number of words that your child can read. So learning the Fry sight word list will help to increase their Lexile level and move them closer towards getting the green check marks that they have to get so they can get to that 8. So the Lexile level, they do that 3 times, and each time, each of the words that they learn helps to increase their Lexile. So that's why we have our students learning those words. It also tests whether or not on the Mastery Connect assessment, we just went over that data. It talks about whether or not they actually master that. And so to master that, they have to score 85%. You want them to be a brilliant Bobcat. You want them to bring home the black wristband. The black wristband in K1 and 2 means that your child is on track. They passed that test. If your child receives a purple wristband, that means that your child missed being proficient, meeting that standard by 1 to 2 questions. So that's what the purple wristband is. And then if your child gets a red, green, there's a third wristband. It'll have a saying on it, something like don't give up, or you're on the right track, or believe in yourself. Those wristbands, that means your child is within 3 questions of scoring, getting the black wristband. And so that means that they're moving in the right direction. Black is what you want. Black tells you that they're on track. But purple and those wristbands with those sayings on there lets you know that they're within 3 to 4 questions of getting there. All right. And so the third grade commitment came about as a result of policy 5013. That's our promotion and retention policy for the district that our Shelby County Schools school board voted to revise it. And so within the revision, it says that we will hold district and school leaders, teachers, and all stakeholders accountable toward ensuring that SES students have the necessary reading skills to be successful before they reach the 3rd grade. And so it talks about how 3rd grade has been identified as the year that students are no longer learning to read, but they are reading to learn. So there is a shift in instruction in 3rd grade. So if your child or any child gets to 3rd grade and they haven't learned the basic sight words, they haven't learned those spelling rules, if they haven't mastered that, it makes it very difficult for them to be able to read and understand what they're reading. And so that's how the 3rd grade commitment came about. And so there is, remember we talked about that we wanted children to have the 8 check marks across the bottom when you look at your child's academic scorecard. And so students are required to meet 8 of the 12 criteria for success. And so four points come from the report card. If your child does not have a F in reading, then they should have three of the success criteria already for just passing reading. If you pass reading, each quarter you automatically have 4 points. You automatically have half of the points that you need to meet the criteria of the 3rd grade commitment. So, and then you'll need to get 4 more points from those tests that we've been talking about already, Mastery Connect or the TCAP test. And so this takes a collective effort from all of us to make sure that our scholars are on track. All right, so this is a snapshot of our school-wide data as a whole. If we go from left to right, you see that 17.1. The 17.1 shows us the percentage of students who are meeting the criteria in terms of their lexile level. That's the number of vocabulary words that they can read. And so our 2nd graders increased the most. They look like they almost doubled their percentage. And so that's why the teachers started asking. That's why we started asking. That's why we are working to get those sight words down so that we can make sure that we set our students up for success. If we look at the middle, that's the 5.4. That's the percentage of students who actually met that 85%, that black wristband that we were just talking about on the previous screen. 5.4% of students got another point in this area. But in terms of our report cards, right now we have 78.7% of scholars who earned their points for the report card grades. And so that is a pretty good percentage. As a matter of fact, we have 96% of our first graders earned their points, and 100% of our second graders have earned their point thus far. So we're on track for the report card grades. And so we've been asking that you help with the vocabulary words, because if students get the 4 points for passing reading on their report card and the 4 points for increasing their Lexile level, the number of words they read, they will meet the 8 criteria points to meet the third grade commitment. So that is why we're working towards our goal each and every day. We're very intentional about what we do. We stay focused on those things, and so we are trying to assist our scholars in making sure that they meet every goal that we set. And so vocabulary, and learning those sight words, that's the key to us getting everyone over the third grade commitment, for us mastering all content areas. If they can read those words, they can read any words. That's science, social studies, math, reading, like anything that we put in front of them. So we appreciate your help with that. So let's take a look at the MSCS commitment to our students. As a parent, you can expect personalized learning plans for your child, frequent communication via parent letters, the academic scorecard, and report cards. You can expect for your child to have their own individual username and password for interventions that can be used both at school and at home, and of course grade and content academic support events throughout the year. And all of those resources can be accessed at SESK12.org. In our communications and updates, parents, of course, we receive our calendars on the first of each month. It gives you a 30-day snapshot of what we have going on at the school. We send home parent newsletters, and or every couple of weeks you'll get a phone, email, or text message with updates from me. So the only thing that we ask is that you help us by committing to the parent creed. And it says, at Scenic Hills Elementary, we are working to build brilliant scholars each day. As a parent, I understand that my children are always watching me. Knowing this, I promise to display respectful and responsible behavior and model the way for my child. To ensure that my child knows just how smart they are, I will read with my child each night, ask them questions about what they are learning, and encourage them to do their best each day. Doing all these things will help my child to be Bobcat strong. So parents, please just continue to ask your child for their daily communicator every day. Talk to them about any messages that the teacher is writing on their communication folder. Look in there for notes from the school, their homework, their list of words that they are working on, their multiplication facts, to help us to continue to build brilliant Bobcats. Our last communication update is I just want to share the chronic absenteeism percentages by grade levels. On the screen, you'll see the red arrow. Currently, only 25% of our fifth graders are chronically absent. But if you look across the grade levels, you will see that there are at least 33% of students who are chronically absent in the rest of the grade levels. So that means that children have to be absent less than 10% of the number of days that we have. So we are currently in on day like 127. So children to be under or not considered chronically absent, they must have less than 12 days that they have been out. And so we track this, and so we just ask any day that your child is able to come to school that you send them for us. So we are offering, as a district, virtual after-school tutoring for students in grades 1 through 3 through Book Nook. You may have seen a blue form. We send it home, ask you to fill it out. Once you fill it out, we actually entered your child into the Book Nook virtual tutoring program. If you have not registered your first through third grader for this after school tutoring program, the link is on the screen right there, connectedliteracy.tn.edu.gov with a /en with a hyphen US and a backslash. Our district's family and community engagement department also offers a few supports that parents may find beneficial. I know that I find this next one beneficial, especially when it comes to assisting my child in mathematics. And so one of the most beneficial tools that our district offers is the homework hotline, and it is offered in 7 different languages. So if your child needs assistance between 4 and 8 p.m., you can call 416-1234. That's 416-1234, and someone, a teacher, will answer the phone and help your child with their homework. How wonderful is that? And lastly, our commitment to our parents. And we just want to thank you, parents. On the screen, you see just a few of the pictures that we've taken at our parent events so far this school year. We hope that you have enjoyed them. We have enjoyed showering you with appreciation for partnering with us, continuing to partner with us, helping to make sure that your child is able to get to school and do their best, put their best foot forward and do their best work. And we know that this is because of the work that you do with your child every day. Now, the district also offers monthly family forums. To find the information on these virtual sessions, all you have to do is go to our district website, put a / and put family forum. All right, let's talk about summer school. This summer. Let's take just a couple of minutes to talk about that. So the summer school program is only for students who qualified based on whether or not they have a failing grade in certain content areas. And we're entering the 4th quarter, so parents, you will hear more about this. If your child is in danger of not passing a content area, there will be a discussion. We'll give you and we'll have you sign a form that lets you know the area your child is having trouble with, and then we'll give you a copy of that and keep a copy on file at school. Now, if your child has passed every content area and you just want to make sure that they stay on top of their game and don't forget anything during the summer, lose any of the things that they learn because they haven't been using them, then we'll be having the Summer Learning Academy this summer, and here are the dates. So on the screen you see that students in kindergarten through 8th grade can attend Summer Learning Academy between June 13th and July 15th. High school is also on the screen. The registration portal opened on yesterday. On yesterday, all parents should have received a text message about with a link for you to register your child for the Summer Learning Academy. Over the last 3 weeks, we have been talking about student registration, enrollment, choosing the right school for your child for next school year. On January 12th, we began our rock enrollment. As a matter of fact, we had an attendance bash on last Friday where the first 100 students had the opportunity to go to our Bobcat store, pick out something special for themselves. And we also had a treat for our students if they were already enrolled. It is not too late. We are currently looking for the first class to get to 100% registration, and they'll actually get a prize. So whether you're new to the district or you're returning, you still have to go in and make sure we have the correct information. So if you need some assistance with registration, you can actually call 416-6007 and they will assist you. Parents, it's also important, and this is the very last thing that we'll discuss today, it's also important that you know about the general choice transfers or optional school transfers. And so for general choice transfers, so let's say that your child is attending pre-K at our school. In order for them to stay at the school, if you don't live in the neighborhood, you will need to complete a general choice transfer so that I can approve it and your child can stay at the Hill with us. For our 5th grade scholars, parents, now is the time for you to think about what school you want them to go to for next school year and consider applying for some of our optional schools. Now, parents, thank you for your attention. At this time, teachers have sent a link out for you to join the class virtually, or if you're in person, you will now receive your child's academic scorecard so that you will be able to ask questions to your child's teacher so that you can make sure that you are on track. We appreciate you joining us today. And remember, if you joined us today, your child is able to come out of uniform tomorrow. Thanks. Have a good evening.